Pacific Palisades reservoir. As I flew over the top, it stuck out to me that there was no water in it. Hey guys, we're gonna do something a little bit different on the channel here today. This isn't what you're normally used to seeing here. First of all, for those of you that have reached out, thank you. I'm doing okay, the hot wagon's okay, my family's okay. None of us have been impacted by the fires down in Southern California. But as many of you know, I have had the hot wagon down in California for my southbound migration mini-series, and there is a time difference between when I've actually filmed and when the video comes out. Usually it's a couple of weeks, and it works in my favor because it gives me time to put everything together, get it all edited, so that I can deliver the best possible aviation content for you. However, in this case, it gave me the opportunity to fly over somewhere that you actually can't fly over today. Now, you are probably aware of the fires that are raging down in Southern California, and as you know, that's the exact area that I've been filming and flying in for the last few weeks. As it turns out, on one of the flights that I didn't intend on recording, I flew over one of the most hotly debated points of interest in the SoCal basin. As luck would have it, two of my cameras were powered on with the aircraft, and somehow I remembered to put an SD card in both of them. Now, there has been a lot of debate between the residents and the local government about whether a specific reservoir was full of water or not. Now, residents say that before the fires broke out, it was empty, and officials say that it wasn't. And I'm not here to debate either point or go into politics. I'm just here to show you the footage that I have from my flight that went directly over the top of the reservoir 2 weeks before the fires broke out. Now for me, this was a normal day and a normal flight because at the time there were no fires. There was a bit of haze that I was contending with as I departed Long Beach en route for Oxnard, and this flight would take me up and over the top of LAX, something that can be accomplished by following a special corridor for VFR aircraft. I climbed to 4,500 feet, followed the 132-degree radial to Santa Monica VOR, and again, this was really normal because I've done it several hundred times over the years. When I reached Santa Monica, I had a choice. I could fly the coastline, taking me past Malibu, or I could hop over the hills and up toward Camarillo. Since I was already at altitude and the coast was hazy, I hopped up and over the hills toward Camarillo. Today, this route would be entirely impossible due to the fires and the temporary flight restrictions that are above them. Now, these restrictions are in place to protect firefighting aircraft from normal aircraft such as myself, but again, this was a couple weeks ago. These fires weren't going on during that time, and so I could freely fly over the top of where these fires are currently burning. It's actually kind of surreal for me sitting here, watching the footage, knowing that most of these buildings are no longer standing. The landscape looks very different now than it did then, just a couple of weeks ago. When I do this flight up toward Oxnard or Camarillo, I often use the Pacific Palisades reservoir as a visual landmark. It's very easy to spot, and it lets me know that I'm on the right track without having to look at a chart. As I flew over the top, it stuck out to me that there was no water in it. Now remember, I'm from Southern California, and while I may live in Alaska now, the memories of the Santa Ana winds are ingrained in my memory. I've seen these hills catch fire more than once in my lifetime, and I found it odd that as we were moving into prime fire season, there wouldn't be any water in one of the main sources of water for firefighting operations. I vividly remember vocalizing how there was no water and how strange that was. However, since I wasn't planning on filming the flight, I didn't have my audio cam running. Again, I'm not here to get involved in politics. I'm here to show footage that I have from 2 weeks before the fire started. As someone who grew up in the area and still owns property in SoCal, this has a direct impact on me. Lots of my friends have been forced to evacuate. Some have lost houses along with everything they own. It's absolutely devastating. The entire point of this video was to show you what I saw that day. That's it. For the loyal followers of my channel that have been with me from the very beginning of the southbound migration, don't worry, I'll be back to business as usual on Friday with a new video. Thank you to those that have reached out to make sure that I'm okay. Again, I got out before the fires hit. There's just a delay from when I filmed to when the videos are posted. I'm safe in Alaska now, and the Hawk Wagon is back in the Pacific Northwest, getting its annual maintenance. I don't usually like making content like this. It really isn't something that I enjoy doing. However, I felt that it was right because I had the footage. I wanted to make sure that if the residents of Pacific Palisades need to use this kind of footage for whatever purpose they need it for, I wanted to make sure that it was out there and that they had it. Again, we'll be back to business as usual on Friday. Thanks for sticking through this one with me. We'll see you on the next one.